就为了18.8万的彩礼。
Just for a betrothal gift of 188,000 renminbi, about 26,320 US dollars, a couple who had been dating for 3 years actually broke up. The girl is from Jinan and is very beautiful. She had been with her boyfriend for 3 years, and they were on the verge of getting married, but the engagement fell through because of the betrothal money. The girl asked for 188,000 renminbi, but the man's side flatly refused, so they broke up immediately. In reality, it's not that the man doesn't have money. His annual salary is between 400,000 and 500,000 renminbi, about 56,000 to 70,000 US dollars, and buying a house and car is not an issue for him. He just wasn't willing to budge on the betrothal gift. The girl told me, he clearly has the ability to pay. Refusing to give it just means he doesn't love me. This isn't about the money. It's about his family's attitude towards me. Actually, as bystanders, we can see the situation clearly. The girl believes the betrothal gift is a sign of the man's sincerity and her own security, while the man feels that demanding it is like a transaction, a burden. In the end, a 3-year relationship vanished just because of a sum of over 100,000 yuan. What a pity. I just want to ask all the guys out there, if you truly love a girl, how much are you willing to give as a betrothal gift? If her family asks for 188,000 renminbi, would you give it or not?
前段时间我给一个男孩子交对象，男孩子条件很好，28岁就把我硕士。
Some time ago, I introduced a man to a potential partner. He was 28 years old, a master's graduate from a top-tier 985 university, and worked as an algorithm engineer at a major tech company with an annual post-tax salary of over 300,000 renminbi, around 41,000 US dollars. He was about 170 centimeters tall, an only child with retired civil servant parents, and owned both a house and a car. Given his background, I knew he would never lack suitors. Based on his preferences, I matched him with a 27-year-old woman who graduated from a 211 university, worked internationally, and was fairly attractive, about 6 or 7 out of 10. After their first meeting, both said they liked each other and wanted to continue seeing one another. They began going out on weekends for meals and movies, chatting happily on WeChat. After more than 2 months, the man decided it was time to confess his feelings. The woman neither accepted nor refused, saying she liked him but hadn't developed romantic feelings yet and hoped to spend more time getting to know him. The man agreed, but became noticeably distant afterward, texting less and seeming cold. A few days later, he came to me saying they weren't suitable and asked me to introduce someone else. Since he was such a good match, I quickly introduced him to another woman. This second woman, 26 years old, cheerful and kind, also an only child with retired civil servant parents, had a stable government job. Though her overall conditions weren't as impressive as the first woman's, she was younger and had a better temperament. They met in the middle of the month, and the woman was thrilled. She thought he was outstanding, much better than any man she had met, and decided to take the initiative. They talked every day, went on dates every weekend, and got along well. After just over a week, they started developing mutual affection and agreed to see where things would go, even planning to meet each other's parents by year's end if things went well. Not long after, the first woman reached out to me, saying he hadn't contacted her for a week and that his WeChat had deleted her. I told her the truth, that he had already told me they weren't compatible and asked for a new match. She was shocked, saying she had always responded positively and only hesitated when he confessed because she didn't feel enough yet. I said, "You're both nearly 30. Who's going to wait forever for you to feel something? He can't waste months just waiting for you to fall in love." She argued, "But how can I marry someone I don't have feelings for?" I replied, "Then find someone else. Why hold on to him?" She admitted his conditions were excellent and that marrying him would be a wise choice. I told her, "You can't have it all. You want both security and passion, but that's unrealistic. You've been on countless blind dates for years and never succeeded because you keep seeing yourself as the one being chosen, as if you're doing others a favor by letting them pursue you. Meanwhile, he could have met plenty of women in those 2 months. Why should he waste his time waiting for you to feel something? He's nearly 30, not a fool. With your lukewarm attitude, he's not going to cling to you, especially when women are lining up to meet someone like him. Hearing that, she regretted it deeply and wanted to reconnect, but I told her, it's too late. He's already seeing someone else. She was stunned and remorseful, asking if there was anyone better. I said, no, the good ones have already been taken by smarter women. Sometimes it's not bad luck. It's that you simply didn't know how to cherish the opportunity when it came.
Owning a multi-million yuan property in Shanghai, and he still gets criticized. That woman must be crazy for money. This young lady, a 25-year-old office clerk, I introduced her to a guy from Shanghai, a premium member for my service. The man is 28, a Shanghai native, with a 150 square meter, top-tier school district apartment in Xinjiang. He works in chip research in Zhangjiang, with an annual salary of over 500,000 renminbi, over 70,000 US dollars, and has a great personality. And guess what? She rejected him outright. She even told me, Momo, your professional skills are lacking. You dare introduce someone with just one apartment to me? His situation, to put it bluntly, is a high-quality negative asset. My requirements are simple. First, the man's side must buy another large, frontline penthouse. It must be solely in my name, decorated to my liking. I will only be responsible for moving in. That's the bottom line. Second, he must hand over his salary card to me. Third, his parents' pensions and medical insurance must be fully arranged so they don't become a burden to us in the future. If these points can't be met, don't even bother. Wow, I was so shocked my jaw almost dropped. A property in Xinjiang, a prime location, is worth at least 20 million renminbi, around 2.8 million US dollars. On top of that, the man himself earns over 500,000 renminbi a year. His future is incredibly promising. Yet, in her words, he's a negative asset. This isn't looking for a husband. This is looking for a lifelong ATM, a full-time nanny, and one that has to come with a massive dowry. Our Shanghai men respect women, are down-to-earth and ambitious, and didn't even mind that you have nothing. Yet here you are, playing these PUA, pickup artists, mind games so skillfully. You want to gain a fortune from nothing, reaping the benefits of generations of someone else's hard work. This kind of poverty alleviation marriage?
I'm 35 this year, aren't I? And I'm still being told by my family every day that I'm arrogant and that I don't have a clear view of myself. But what I really want to share with you all is that I've discovered something about myself. Even though I'm 35, I still find that I cannot accept being with someone I have a physiological aversion to. It's true. I feel that being with someone who makes you uncomfortable will make you sick. Traditional Chinese medicine talks about emotions therapy, suggesting that emotions can cause all illnesses but can also cure them. From morning to night, you're with someone you don't like and you even have to engage in, well, intimate acts. Just thinking about it feels like attending a funeral. I don't know about others, but for me, it's a physiological disgust. It means that no matter how hard you try to control your mind, you can't numb that feeling one bit. You just can't bring yourself to like them. I once read a report that said when you are happy, your heart secretes a hormone that can kill over 90% of cancer cells. When I think about it carefully, throughout your entire life, shouldn't your state of mind be the most important thing?
And before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers from all around the world is a huge inspiration for us. Thank you so much.
For a girl to want to date a man with taste is an extremely unreasonable demand. Don't rush to object. Let me tell you why. You can ask for a man to be rich, tall, handsome, or to treat you well. All of those are fine. I don't find those demands particularly excessive. But asking a man to have taste is truly going too far. Let me analyze it for you. What kind of man actually has taste? There are two types. The The first type is a scammer, the kind of scumbag who pretends to have great taste. Why do I say that? Everyone likes people with taste, whether they're men or women, old or young. Who doesn't like taste? But have you ever thought about what the word taste really represents? It doesn't just mean having money. Having money is the most basic prerequisite. It also requires him to be worldly knowledgeable and to understand a great deal. Taste is something that needs to be cultivated over a long period, steeped in wealth and knowledge, encompassing everything from an artistic sensibility to all other aspects of life. The first type I mentioned are likely scammers. Some guys enroll in those pickup artist classes and then post pictures on their social media of themselves at high-end hotels, skiing, skateboarding, playing frisbee, golfing, tasting wine, eating steak, or having Japanese food. Their social media feed looks just like those fake socialites, showing off all these luxurious activities. Many of them are like those group buy socialites. There are also group buy boy bands of these scummy men who specialize in preying on naive women. That's one type. The other type is the man who genuinely has taste. Let me tell you, there are many rich people in this world. What counts as rich? An annual income of 500,000 renminbi, about $70,000, is already quite wealthy compared to the average person. But would you say a rich person necessarily has taste? Not necessarily. A rich person may not have taste, but a person with taste is definitely rich. Do you agree with that? Because having taste, you might say his taste is in his soul. Let me be blunt. Behind a wealthy man with taste, there is almost certainly a mother with taste who has raised and cultivated him since childhood. If she is a woman of taste, her son will be too. I'll say it again. Behind a man who truly has taste, there is definitely a mother with taste. Why? Because men with taste are usually cultivated by women. You can't expect a man to go and research taste, brands, and fine wines for you. Men are busy figuring out how to earn money to support the family and for their wives to spend. It's usually the mother, one who lives with great refinement, who dresses her son stylishly from a young age, develops his aesthetic sense, sends him to all sorts of classes to broaden his horizons. Taste is cultivated from a young age, just like an aristocratic temperament. It takes generations to develop. As the saying goes, a nouveau riche person can get rich overnight, but an aristocratic temperament truly takes many generations and many years to cultivate. The same goes for taste. It's not something you can cram in a few months or even a few years. It's an accumulation over time. To those women who demand that their partner have taste, I ask you, does your family have the kind of status and taste to match? If it does, then okay, you can make such a demand. But if you're just an ordinary person who's read too many overbearing CEO novels and now dreams, oh, I want a tasteful older man, a tasteful CEO, then give up on that dream. Just give it up. The most you're likely to encounter are the pig butchering scammers, the PUAs who just want to play games with you. At best, that's what you'll find. Any man who genuinely has taste wouldn't even look at you. Think about it. Why would someone with such refined taste be interested in someone like you who has none? Just doesn't happen. And even if you are very beautiful, if your family background and financial situation don't match, it won't work. As I said, behind that man is a mother with taste. Why would she approve of you? Her son might be foolish, but his mother certainly isn't. So this demand for taste is just too high. It's even harder than saying, I want to marry a rich man. Marrying a rich man might even be relatively easier. But taste, as I've said, encompasses wealth and everything else. To put it bluntly, you want it all. Get it? The young girl who told me she wanted to find a man with taste. Why would she say such a thing? Because she's young and has never been in a relationship. She has no idea what taste actually entails. That's why I wanted to make this video.
有天晚上相亲又失败了。
Saturday night's blind date failed, again. I really want to know why. We had already seen each other's photos, but when we met, the moment he glanced at me, I knew he wasn't interested. His expression was so obvious. Then, when it was time to exchange contact info, I saw he didn't send his, so I didn't send mine either. He didn't message me last night. To be honest, I always look forward to these blind dates, but every time I end up feeling so awful, feeling like I'm really that bad, that unattractive. Yesterday, I kept telling myself, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, but then I just felt silently miserable, so upset. I cried all night again. Okay, no more dwelling on it. I just really want to say, if you're not satisfied with the photo, then please don't come. Coming and then showing your dissatisfaction is just a waste of his time and a waste of my time, isn't it? After it's over, I'm the one who feels crushed again, and I'll have to face criticism again. Really? Maybe my photos are uglier than I am in person? Whatever, I need to lose weight quickly. I'll just lose weight. From now on, I'll use this Douyin, TikTok, account to document my weight loss journey. I don't really like exercising, so I'll probably just focus on my diet, eat less, and stick to home-cooked meals instead of takeout. Ugh, I'm starting to ramble. Another month has passed. Come on, keep going, keep going.
他妈的，明明是性开放最高的那些人，却老是说自己慢热。
Damn it. It's always the ones with the highest sex drives who claim to be slow to warm up. It's always the ones with the highest cheating rates who claim they lack a sense of security. It's always the ones who demand the most betrothal money who claim to be independent women. It's always the ones who are the worst at making money who complain that men are incompetent. It's always the ones who can't even cook 3 simple dishes and whose homes are as messy as a pigsty, yet they always call themselves a free nanny. It's always the ones who see money as the most important thing, yet they still say, oh, it's not the money I want, it's your attitude. It's always the ones with the most flaws, the ones nobody wants, who claim that no man is worthy of them. The ones who are always talking about reproductive value are the same ones who always accuse others of objectifying women. And clearly, it's the ones who most want to take advantage of others who are always shouting about gender equality. Let me state this again. I'm not trying to create a conflict between men and women. It's not that there aren't good girls out there. The problem is a group of extreme feminists, an extreme group that is massively overdrawing the credibility and reputation of women. I believe everyone knows what I mean. The more complicated the situation gets, the more you need to wipe your eyes clean. I'm telling you, keep your eyes wide open.
大龄单身女啊，其实怪可怜的啊。
Older single women are actually quite pitiful. Right now in China, there is a surplus of single women, and these women have been praised to death by capitalism. This is especially true for older single women. They are nothing more than pathetic figures under capitalistic labels. What are these capitalistic labels? For example, an ordinary woman in her 30s is still called a little fairy, while a man of similar standing is called a poor bro. How can a poor bro possibly compete with a little fairy? This leads to situations where a woman with a daily salary of 3,000 renminbi, equivalent to 90,000 renminbi per month, or about $12,600 looks down on a man with a monthly salary of 10,000 renminbi, about $1,400. When the brainwashing power of the term little fairy starts to weaken, capitalism switches its tactics. They begin to heavily publicize that there are over 30 million more men than women in China, using this data to fuel women's unrealistic expectations. Oh, there are so many men I can afford to wait. The guys around me are too average. I'm so outstanding, I must find a man who will provide for me, pamper me, and love me. And so they wait, and by the time they're 35, their Prince Charming still hasn't arrived. Just as they begin to self-reflect, a group of divorced elder sisters appears on the scene. They use their personal experiences to preach that marriage is a woman's shackles, saying things like, "If I could choose again, I would never get married," followed by a barrage of complaints against marriage and men. These elder sisters are also victims of capitalism. Their marriages were originally fine, but after getting married, they had too much free time while raising children at home. They started consuming toxic chicken soup online, and then began picking fights over everything in their daily lives. Through one unreasonable tantrum after another, they ruined their own marriages. In the end, not only do they not reflect on their actions, but they instead believe it was all because their husbands didn't love them and deceived them. These older single women, influenced by these elder sisters, start to develop a fear of marriage and childbirth, distancing themselves from men once again. By the time they are in their 40s, they start to panic thinking, should I get married or not? After a long struggle, they finally decide to look for a partner, only to find that very few men are willing to choose them. All in all, it's quite a pitiful situation.
中国女人在婚恋上最大的焦虑就是
The biggest anxiety for Chinese women in marriage is age. Let me tell you something. It's not that it's hard to find a partner because you're older. Could it be that you've always had a hard time finding a partner, even when you were young, which has led to you getting older? Many people think being single at an older age is their fatal flaw. Stop kidding yourself. Your difficulty in finding a partner isn't simply because of your age. Could it be that your physical appearance isn't good enough? Could it be that you have a sense of gender superiority? Could it be that you have a sense of value superiority? Is it possible that your social skills are poor and your dating abilities are weak? Could it also be that your social circle is too narrow and that your concepts and perceptions are problematic? In other words, you have numerous shortcomings and flaws, but you lump them all into one single cause. It's because I'm old. Isn't that a terrifying thought, right? So, well, you guys tell me. I washed my hair today. Look at it. Isn't it okay?
关于老婆不愿意就构成
The topic of whether a husband forcing his wife to have sex against her should be considered marital rape has sparked heated debate. One man offered a sharp analysis. If marital rape were officially recognized, then whenever a wife reports that my husband forced me last night, the husband would immediately be investigated, which would shake the very foundation of marriage and society. A simple quarrel between spouses could turn into a criminal case, and the husband would be forced to prove his innocence, perhaps making many men afraid to marry. Furthermore, marriage law already stipulates that spouses have mutual obligations, including meeting each other's emotional and physical needs, and disharmony in sexual life is one of the legitimate reasons for divorce. If everything is judged solely based on violating the woman's will, human relationships could hardly function. The topic has ignited widespread online discussions. Some netizens questioned, if marital rape is a crime, but extramarital affairs are not, does that mean a marriage certificate is actually a certificate of guilt? Others asked, if marital rape exists, then what crime does a husband commit if his wife wants intimacy but he refuses? Some mocked the idea, saying, if the law recognizes marital rape, should it also recognize marital theft? For example, if one spouse takes money from home against the other's will, is that theft within marriage? And if spouses exchange money for sex, would that be considered prostitution or solicitation within marriage? A marriage certificate isn't a license for sex work. Some also worried that certain women, having lovers outside their marriage, might falsely accuse their husbands of rape to send them to jail and then enjoy their wealth with their lovers. What kind of society would that create? Although marital rape cases are rarely officially filed, the process of proving innocence is long and painful. Marriage is protected by law, and sexual relations within marriage are mutual obligations. Even if one party is unwilling but sex still occurs, it is more akin to domestic violence than rape. After all, the definition of violating a woman's will is too vague. She may consent one moment and withdraw the next. How can such a boundary be legally defined? Can a single word from the wife be enough to convict? What's your view on this issue?
后悔也把自己耽误了呀。
Regret just means you've wasted your own time. Lately, I've been seeing many posts from older female bloggers saying things like, I graduated with a master's from a top 985 or 211 university. I'm already 38 or 35 years old, and I'm still not married and have no children. It's only now that I've come to understand that men and women are fundamentally different. I don't know what kind of nonsense was drilled into my head when I was young, but all I thought about was competing with men, wanting to be some strong career woman. I let my prime reproductive value go to waste, choosing instead to struggle and fight for myself, treating myself like a man. I was clearly born a woman, and a woman's natural value lies in her ability to bear children. If I could do it all over again, I would definitely choose to trade my reproductive value for survival. After all, the child you bear is still your child. Besides, I think for a woman, trading reproductive value for survival is the simplest, easiest, and most cost-effective path. A woman's value should be in managing the household, supporting her husband, and raising children. This is not just a responsibility, it's a woman's innate advantage. The pain a woman should endure is menstrual cramps, pregnancy, childbirth, and raising children, not staying up all night struggling to make a living. What a woman should enjoy is being a wife and a mother, not fame and fortune. Now, these are not my words. This is the content of a video by an older woman. I'm just relaying it to you. Honestly, this woman is very beautiful. She must have been a stunner when she was younger, but she completely wasted her own life. If these words came from a man, he would be torn to shreds by the fairies. But coming from the mouths of women who have personally experienced the path of independence to a certain age, and found it more difficult than getting married and having children, at least they won't blame men. The truth is, our gender is not something we can choose. Men and women are different. Because of our different biological makeup, the missions we carry in this world are different. You were born a girl, yet you insist on going against nature, against your genetic traits to change yourself and change men. That's just a dream. Smart girls know how to praise and coax their men to work like donkeys for them, while you all insist on riding on men's heads and taking a dump, and you still expect them to willingly look up, open their mouths, and catch it. If you're not the ones who get abandoned, then who is? What's wrong with being a sweet little wife? A sweet little wife gets to stay at home, sheltered from the wind and rain, enjoying the fruits of her man's labor. Only foolish women spend their days jumping and screaming at men. Do what's appropriate for your age. At the age for marriage, you must get married. At the age for having children, you must have children. I'll say it again, ladies. A woman's time to bloom is limited, and it's very short. A woman's most valuable asset is her age. Once you're past that age, you won't be able to get married or have children. This isn't something you can defy fate on. The idea that man can conquer nature is useless here. In society, your most valuable asset is your ability. In the family, your most valuable asset is your children. But to a man who wants to get married, your most valuable asset is your age. No ability or beauty is as valuable as your age. To men of any age group, your age is the most valuable thing. You all insist on throwing away your most precious asset, picking up a big stick to compete with men in their areas of strength, chineseemotion for fields you are not good at, and then crying and demanding a seat at the table. You could have lived a comfortable life by forming a family, but in the end, by the time you're of age, you haven't gotten a seat at the table, and you've already withered. You must always accept one fact. Most people in this world are ordinary, and that includes you. Those glamorous, successful urban female protagonists packaged by the media and TV shows, they probably have nothing to do with you in this lifetime.
And so, our emotional journey for today comes to a close. We have just listened to a complex symphony of voices, from the late regrets of a successful woman to the firm resolve of a girl who refuses a love without a spark, from seemingly unreasonable material demands to the bitter disappointment over a bride price. Together, they paint a painfully authentic picture of the search for love and marriage in modern society. Perhaps we are lost in a maze of expectations. Expectations of wealth, of status, of a love that is both as romantic as the movies and as secure as a business contract. The media glorifies the image of the strong career woman and the little fairy, yet the same society quietly measures a woman's worth by her age and her reproductive value. Men are expected to be providers, to be successful, yet they grow weary of demands they see as unreasonable, as a lack of respect. Maybe the greatest lesson here is not about who is right or wrong, or which gender faces more pressure. The lesson lies in the lack of connection, not just with others, but with our own selves. Have we truly stopped to ask ourselves what we want? A life partner or an ATM? A family or social validation? Are we using other people's standards to measure our own happiness? Perhaps, before presenting a checklist of demands to a potential partner, we should first learn to look deep into our own hearts, to confront our fears, our insecurities, and our deepest desires. True love isn't about finding a perfect person. It's about finding someone who sees our imperfections, yet still chooses to stay, to build a home with us from the most ordinary, everyday pieces. Thank you for listening. Please share your own stories and reflections in the comments below. Because every emotion, no matter how small, deserves to be understood.